This is Dynasty Warriors 2, a beat-em-up hack-and-slash game created for the PlayStation 2. In fact, it was a launch title for the PlayStation 2 back when it was released in the year 2000, except in Japan. Japan got this game a little later after the PlayStation 2 was released, and in fact, it's not called Dynasty Warriors in Japan. It's called Shin Sangokumusō, and this is the first title in the series for them. For the rest of the world, Dynasty Warriors already existed, but as a fighting game. So it made sense for Omega Force to call the game Dynasty Warriors 2. Now as you can see, this game only has two modes, Musō mode and free mode. Musō mode is the story mode in the game, and free mode is your arcade type, pick any stage, pick any officer you want to play with, and go beat some enemies up. There are a total of 8 stages and 28 characters in this game. Let's talk about the controls. First you got the analog, which moves your character, and you can also move around with the D-pad. It's a lot easier to move around with the analog, to be honest with you. To attack you press square, however you have to press square multiple times to get a combo out. And this game comes with the combo system, so if you press square multiple times you will only go up to 4 hits, but you can also combine square with triangle, which is a heavy attack. You can also press triangle to do a heavy attack alone, or you can hold triangle to do this area of effect attack, which means attack everybody around you. Holding circle will regenerate your Musō. Musō is your special or ultimate attack in the game. This game lacks a rotational camera, which means that you cannot pan over to see your character behind or in front. So you have to depend on pressing L1, which is originally a blocking mechanic, but you can use L1 just to turn the camera around faster. Pressing L2 toggles the HP bars on top of the enemies' heads. Holding and pressing the R1 button activates bow and arrow feature, which means that you can actually snipe down rangers from a higher level in case you have no access to the upper levels at all. Pressing R2 toggles the mini map from full map to a map that's really zoomed in so you can see your enemies and opponents much more clear. Here's an example of how the blocking and parry system works in this game. So what you essentially do is hold L1 to block, and when the enemy attacks you and you parry it or block it, you can press square and he will counter the attack. And that pretty much covers the controls. The objective of the game is to defeat everyone, but more specifically, the enemy commander. But in order to reach the enemy commander, you either have to do some map events like to destroy these huge fans blowing strong air, or just defeat famous officers. In most cases, you just need to beat the officers and continue on towards the enemy commander's base. You have to understand that Dynasty Warriors 2 was a launch title for the PlayStation 2 in America and Europe, but not in Japan. And this is Omega Force's first Musō game, so it's understandable that they didn't have more features back then when it was released. But that's not going to stop me from telling you what the problem is in this game. The first thing is the difficulty. When you first start playing this game, you will notice that the difficulty is being set to normal. But I had to switch that to easy because on normal it was hard. And that's because my character was just level 1. Now, in order to actually level up your character, you need to defeat officers which will drop either a defense drop, an attack drop, or a life drop, which is pretty much just like +1 attack, +2 defense, etc, etc. But you can only play the first stages of the game. That means that you're gonna have to repeatedly play the first or second stage to actually just level up in order to enjoy the later stages. In this footage, this is where I thought that I could handle these guys by myself at normal difficulty, but instead, they put me in my place. Another problem is fighting the famous officers. For whatever reason, they decided anytime a famous officer lands on the ground, they will either get a buff or recover HP. This means that you either have to pray that they get a buff and not recover HP, or try your best to land hits on them before they get knocked down. This is another problem too, because the combo system only allows you to have a max of 4 hits unless you stun them with the 3-hit combo. So if you do a 3-hit stun combo, and then a 4-hit combo with the Musō attack. You have to aim accurately to keep juggling them until they are defeated. This game is like the manual transmission of Musō games. One last problem is the draw distance. In this footage, you can see how close the draw distance is. I can barely see anything, and it's almost like they expect you to remember where the crates are if you are looking for heals or anything in general. Pressing start for the map will help you a lot for the enemies, but for items, you are on your own. But hey, this is their first Musō game, it's a launch title for the PlayStation 2, so we can't be too hard on them. Now you may have noticed already that I'm playing this on an emulator, alongside with the widescreen patch, which looks really good for a PlayStation 2 game, no lie. But there comes some side effects. Just like any other game, this game has an opening intro. So they gave us the power to choose any character that we want to be played in the opening intro. And because emulators are not perfect just yet, I found something quite interesting. And if you made it this far in the video, I'm gonna leave you with a special present. I hope you discovered and explored Dynasty Warriors 2, or Shin Sangokumusō in Japan. I'll see you in the next one, and have a good day.